Alright, this is lesson 79B. I sent you 79A yesterday. This is 79B. So you may have already done it, but I'll just go over it with you. And just stick with me, even though I may butcher it just a little bit. So the very first part of it is talking about when you have 2 times 2 times 2, we know that that equals 8. And we can say that the cube root of 8 equals 2 because there are 3 factors of 8 that go into 2. 2 times 2 times 2. But another piece that we haven't talked about is that even though 2 is a root of 8, there are also 2 other roots of 8 that are complex. So today we're going to talk about how do you find those other roots. And before we get to that part, what we'll talk about is the idea that there are 3 roots. So the first thing that we're going to look at is we'll look at an example. If we have 2 CIS 12 degrees and we cube that, if you cube that, again, remember, then you take 2 and we cube it, and then CIS, and then we take 12 and we multiply that by 3. So our answer ends up being 8 CIS 36. Okay, so we know that the cube root of 8 CIS 36 is 2 CIS 12. Well, that's only one of them. One of the cube roots of 8 CIS 36 is 2 CIS 12. There are actually 2 more. And to show you that there are 2 more, if you take 2 CIS 132 degrees and you cube it, you end up getting 2 cubed, again, CIS, and then 132 times 3. Well, 132 times 3 is 396, so you get 8 CIS 396. If you subtract 360 degrees from that, you end up getting 8 CIS 36. So you get the same number that you did before with a different root. And the third root is 2 CIS 252 degrees. If we cube that, then we will also see, oh sorry, there we go. Okay, so if you cube that, then you also see that you end up getting 2 cubed CIS 252 times 3. So that is 8 CIS 252 times 3 is 756. If you subtract 720 from that, you get 8 CIS 36. So you get the same thing. So we have 3 different ways to come up with 8 CIS 36. So there are actually 3 roots of 8 CIS 36. So what your lesson is going to be is starting with 8 CIS 36 and how do you come up with your 3 different roots, or your 2 roots, or your 5 roots, or however many roots it is that it says that you want to come up with. So that's what we're going to learn about today. So here's the key. If it has square roots, it's going to be 2 square roots. If it has cube roots, there will be 3 of them. If they are 4th roots, there will be 4. If there are 5, if it's 5th roots, there are 5, and so on. So there will be nth roots for every complex number. So that's the first thing that you need to remember. The second thing that you need to remember is the nth roots for every complex number. They are going to differ by 360 divided by n. So if you want to figure out how they differ is just going to be 360 divided by n. So for example, if you go back up to this top one, there were 3 roots. So since there are 3 roots, n is 3. So if we do 360 divided by 3, you get 120. So that means that these roots are going to differ by 120. And in fact, if you take 12 and add 120, you get 132. Add 120 to that, you get 252. So each root is going to differ by 360 divided by n. Okay, so let's do an example. This is example 79.3. So example 79.3 says find 4 fourth roots of 16 CIS 60 degrees. Okay, so we know that you've got 4 fourth roots. So basically you go backwards. Instead of taking a number to the 4th power, you're going to do the 4th root. So you're going to do the 4th root of 16 CIS 60 divided by 4 to get your first root. So you end up with 2 CIS 15. So again, we said there were 4 roots. So since there are 4 roots, we take 360 divided by 4. 360 divided by 4 is going to be 90. So we know that these are going to differ by 90. So our next one will be 2 CIS 105, then 2 CIS 195, 2 CIS 285. And those are your 4 fourth roots. Now, you should check these just to make sure. 2 to the 4th power in each case here is going to be 16, so we know that 16 is right. What you do need to check is just multiply this by 4 and then divide by a power of 360 just to make sure that they are all roots of 16 CIS 60. So if I take 15 times 4, 15 times 4 is 60. So 2 to the 4th is 16. 16 CIS, 15 times 4 is 60. So yes, that is a root. 2 to the 4th is 16. 105 times 4. 105 times 4 is going to give me 420. If I subtract 360 from that, I get 60. And so that is what I wanted. 60, 60. Okay, if I multiply 195 times 4, 195 times 4 is 780. I can subtract 360 from that, and I get 420. If I subtract 360 from that, I get 60, which is what I wanted. So I'm just going around that circle to the same point until I get down to 60. And then if you check this last one, times 4, just make sure it's still on there. Okay, so 285 times 4, you get 1,140, and then you can subtract 720 if you want, or any value of 360, any multiple of 360. So you get 20, you get 420. 420 minus 360 again is 60. So there's your first example.